Cam Little, more like Cam Biggle Leg or something, because that dude is a monster. 70-yarder. It's unfortunate it's not during this season. I can't believe it, but can't believe it's not butter. I hope you guys are having a good day. What is cooling, by the way? We got the Jags today, baby. Let's go, Duval. Let's rock it in here. Let's get right into this, man. Prowler Nation. Let's bring on some offensive line talk first and foremost. Yeah, I love the Prowler Puffs, man. That is just those uniforms. Those are some of my favorites in the league. Those are so sweet. Going back to this, though, this offensive line, you got the other Little, Walker Little, who's also looking to have a big time year this season. Just got that contract extension. And I do think he'll be able to hold his own. He's a good player. And what he showed when he's out there healthy is he's been a very solid left tackle. Being to protect Trevor Lawrence is going to be key for them this season. And I think, in generally speaking, the offensive line is going to be the key to this team's success on the offense side of the ball. Like, they got plenty of weapons. Even though Trevor Lawrence, you can say what you want, and we'll talk more about him in a little bit, but I like Trevor Lawrence, and I just think it comes down to this offensive line being able to protect him and have a good run game. If they've got a consistent run game, I think that's going to be the engine for this offense and for being a good football team in general. And then tackle-wise ranking, I have him at 23. Anton Harrison, I like him a lot. A bit of a up and down season. I like that. You could say a lot about that for this offensive line in general. Like, there was a lot of inconsistency. There were games where, like, Ezra Cleveland was having really good games, and games where he wasn't so good. And just in general, this offensive line, you can really say that about everybody. And they got to be more consistent. They got to iron out some of those deficiencies in pass pro and in the run game, be more of a group rolling machine, which I think they're going to be by adding in Patrick McCarry and Robert Hainsey. Both guys that are road graders, especially McCarry. That dude can slam dudes on the ground. He's a technician, too, in pass pro. So moving into this interior, I think the guard position is really solid. I rank it at 14th, above average in the NFL. And even though Robert Hainsey, I rank him at 27th, I think that he's going to be a really good guard, or a really good center this season. I watched his film last year, his limited film, versus the Saints, albeit, okay, and the Saints defense line is nothing crazy, but he was manhandling those Saints defensive tackles. So, hey, they're still NFL players. Talking depth-wise, who do I think makes the roster and who's competing for positions here if they do have injuries and whatnot? First off, at tackle, I think Fred Johnson's locked into the main swing tackle for this football team. Then you got Cole Van Layden, who also gives you versatility. You can play guard. I think he's also locked into the roster. So that's 7 right there. On the interior, I think you got Wyatt Millen, who's guaranteed a lock. I really like Wyatt Millen, even though he didn't have a great pre-draft process, which is why he slid at the 3rd round. I think his tape is really good, and I just feel like sometimes you overlook some things with the offseason progress. Like, look at the film. He was really good, and he's going to give him some more really run-blocking mentality, and especially if Ezra Cleveland has a bit of a down year or whatever, then they might move on from him and plug in Wyatt Millen, or he could end up being somebody else, if they want to put McCarry is more of a swing tackle, whatever. It's just going to depend on how things go this season. Ultimately, you got to get your best 5 out there. I really like Wyatt Millen. So there's 8. You look at between Luke Fortner. If they only keep 9, then you're looking at competition between Luke Fortner and Chiduma Adoga, who can also play a little swing tackle for them. So maybe he gives you a little bit of an edge there. Now they want to make sure they have a backup center. So my guess is they keep Jonah Monheim over Luke Fortner. Luke Fortner is going to have a tough one to be able to make this roster this season, especially with Monheim being a draft pick. So don't be surprised if they say, hey, Monheim's a guy, he's one of our guys. We drafted him, so we want to, with this new regime, they want to keep him over Luke Fortner. But I do think Chuma Edoga has a really good chance. And ultimately, if I had to guess, I think that 10 people end up making the roster, especially with the offensive line issues that they've had here. So keeping 10 would be my guess. Tremaine Archram, also a guy to watch out for. He can play tackle, can play on the interior. So that would be my guess. And Javon Foster's, will they keep him? Older regime. Cooper Hodges. Those are some guys who could be practice squad candidates, too, for this football team. And then on to the wide receiving core here, where I rank them at number 14. It's a really good room. I mean, I wouldn't call it, insane at the moment, but I would say that they could easily be a top-tier room. Obviously, Travis Hunter's a rookie. I love Travis Hunter. Will he be able to play both sides of the football field? Absolutely, man. There's no question about it. Will he be able to play, as much as he did at Jackson State and Colorado? Probably not. The physicality of the NFL game is just going to be a little bit too much, if I'm guessing. Ultimately, though, you got to use him on both sides of the football field. I list him on offense and defense. And at an 81 overall ranking, that's my highest rookie rating. I'm just a huge fan of Travis Hunter. He's my number 1 player. He was my number 1 player in the draft. And he looked as advertised in preseason. Yeah, he had a missed tackle and he's a good defender as a corner, but whatever. You know what I mean? Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, it's going to be a 1-2 fun combination. And Diami Brown, getting him on some jet sweeps already. And He's got some vertical speed, so I think he could be a nice addition for this football team. If he plays like he did at Washington, then certainly at the end of the season in the playoffs, then you're going to get yourself a good quality third playmaker in this offense. Now, the depth wise, hey, Trent Urban had a good game last night. Joshua Sivas also looked solid, and he's at a great camp. So I think Urban and Charles and Parker Washington, that's a nice little group there. Then other guys to watch out for here that I say have a really good chance of making the roster. I like Eli Pankwell from Duke. He also a big fan of Jordan Moore, but Pankwell had a really good season last year. He's got toughness to his game, right? He's got good hands. He can have some really good yak. He's different, he's a sneaky guy to bring down in space. So definitely a dude to keep an eye out on in preseason and whatnot. Austin Tremmel in special teams. Darius Lassiter, I liked him as well out of BYU. He was another dude that just had drop issues. Like, that's the thing. Like, he can get open. Lassiter really has some good, like, lateral agility and space creation. It just had so many drops, I feel like, last year. So we'll see if he can iron some of those things out. Darian Singer maybe is an opportunity as well, especially practice squad. I think Lassiter, Singer, those are guys like really practice squad candidates. Pank will be my favorite to be able to sneak in here. Maybe as a roster spot, but definitely still a practice squad candidate, depending on how many they want to keep. My guess is they want to keep around 6 as of this moment. Wide receiver room, though, looks really promising. It looks like a really good room, definitely above average. And then tight end wise, I know I rank it at 29th, and this might be an area of Jaguars fans. So, push the code red, a little bit of a concern. Now, I actually don't mind this tight end room, even though it is a low ranking for me, especially when you look at the scheme, Liam Cohen and also Grant Udinsky coming over here. What they're going to want to do, they want to be able to block, right? And you got guys like that. You got Johnny Munt. You got Hunter Long, Quentin Morris. Those guys, they can block their butts off. They're going to help Trevor Lawrence be a 6th offensive lineman. And these guys can, they're not incapable of getting up vertical and doing simple things like that as a receiver, but they're going to be coming in there to block. My thing is, too, you got Brenton Strange in here. I really like Brenton Strange. I think he's going to be a dude that if you're fantasy guys and you're like, okay, I don't want to draft a tight end early, who's a sneaky tight end that I can draft at the end that has a lot of upside? Brenton Strange. Okay, I'm not trying to be strange with you, but man, Dr. Strange over here, Brenton Strange is a beast in the waking. I really liked his film last year. Every time that Ed Ingram had to go take a breather or was injured, I thought Strange stepped up and was amazing. He's got the athleticism. His route running is already pretty dang solid. He's developed a lot and gotten better as a blocker too. So that's my take on it. I think Strange is going to fill right in. It'd be a really, really good tight end. I think he'd be a 500-yard tight end wide receiving option for this football team. And as I mentioned, they got some good blockers out here too. Now, going on to the running back position, I rank it at 18th. There's no concern for me, even though 18 is, it's technically below average. If you're talking 16, it's right there in the middle in the NFL. And in general, this room looks really good. Travis Etienne, I'm hoping for a bounce back year with a better offensive line and a better scheme for him. This team's going to run more outside zone. They're going to get him the ball in space. They're going to do swings and screens and things like that. And obviously, you got Bashaw Toon to be able to come and do that. Like, that's his game to a T, right? Get him some screens, get him the ball in space, outside zone. That's really what he was thriving in at Virginia Tech. So I get it. Like, they've got some guys that can do that. Like, Quentin Allen's going to be a great receiving option for this team, too. I love him as well. Man, they've got some good, like, all 5 of these guys, I really like. Tank Bigsby, of course, I've even mentioned, but Tank was beastly last season, filling in for Travis Etienne when he needed to. Jaquindon Jackson's a little bit underrated out of Utah. He was a guy, well, he transferred over to Arkansas this past season, but he is just injury prone. Like, that's been his thing through college, but he's a talented back as well. I think he gets practice squad. I think they keep 4 guys in here. And honestly, I do think this could give a little Tampa vibes of last year. And then we go on to the quarterback position, Trevor Lawrence, and a hot topic on what is Trevor Lawrence, right? Is T-Law a bust for being a number 1 overall pick and as touted as he was? I still like Trevor Lawrence. He makes some passes that only like 5 quarterbacks can make in the NFL. And Trevor Lawrence certainly has all the talent. It's the inconsistencies that he's got to get better throwing, not just deep balls, right? He's really good at throwing. He's got one of the best deep balls in the NFL. But can you hit consistently those slants and, short out routes and stuff like that, or, the out routes and all that stuff? Like, he's got to be more consistent over the middle of the football field. And that's really been Trevor Lawrence's biggest Achilles heel throughout his career so far. So, it's not all on him. And, there's some moving parts to it. And a better O-line will certainly help him out. He's got to get better. And there's no question about that. But you talk about some of the unique throws, some of those big-time playmaking ability. Like, Trevor Lawrence has that to his game. So we'll see if he can iron out those things. I'm still really optimistic on Trevor Lawrence. Nick Mullins, I figure to be their main backup. John Wolford, maybe the practice squad candidate emergency quarterback at the number 3 spot there. On and to the defense side of the ball, and this defensive line, it looks pretty dang good. Now, there are some injuries. Eric Armstead should be okay, hopefully, by the season and get rolling at some point. Got Mason Smith and what he brings to the table, man, this season. Let's hope he can break out here. Nothing but good things about him in training camp. But injuries have been a big thing there with Mason Smith, so got to watch out for that. Austin Johnson, they brought in with Eric Armstead's injury, and he's already been impressing in camp. So I know he's been a nice, reliable player throughout his career as a good backup and whatnot. You got Jordan Jefferson, Tyler Lacey, especially if, Eric Armstead starts the season on the PUP or the IR, then I think that Lacey, Jefferson, Johnson, Smith, and Hamilton end up making the roster there as those 5 guys early on. And then besides that, too, on the edge rushing position, you're looking really, really good. You got Travon Walker, who to me is a little underrated at this point. And I get it. He gets compared to Aiden Hutchinson. Like, that's going to be the thing. And it's a little unfortunate that he's compared to Hutchinson. And in his own right, like, Walker's been a really nice pick, and he's really developed. I think he's going to have hopefully he gets more recognition this season. He deserves it. He was really good last season. Josh Hines-Allen is still very good, of course. Emmanuel Ogbah, Dennis Gardeck, Dwayne Schmoot, and obviously Ogbah's been a little banged up. But you got Schmoot, who looks like he's got a little revitalization here, and now he's ready to go. And Dennis Gardeck, when he gets fully out there, man, he's a grinder as well. A good situational pass rusher, can play a little Sam linebacker, can play all over the field. They've got a really good group there of 5. Denny Stigro had a nice little strip sack last night. It was pretty good. Niles Cole going to be fighting for a roster. Same thing with Yasir Abdullah. And you could categorize Abdullah as a linebacker, right? He could be a little like a Sam option for them. He definitely has practice squad possible first guy in sort of, last guy in sort of ability, depending on what they want to do in this roster. On to the linebacking situation, which looks really, really, really good. You got the linebacker position ranking for me at number 5. It's a top 5 unit. You got Fulasad Aluakan the hooligan, as I call him. I love that, man. He is just all over the place, like makes plays all day long. He's the leader of the defense really in many ways. And you got Devin Lloyd, who just going to be more consistent this season, okay? Take that next step, okay? Especially in coverage. If he does that, he could be a superstar linebacker. He's looking to get paid as well. So, a big contract year. Anyway, like Fulasad Aluakan and Devin Lloyd, great 1-2 punch. You got Ventrell Miller to be figured the 3rd linebacker this season. Also has him. He's more of the coverage guy in this room, I would say. Like, he's got that ability to go out and cover tight ends down the football field and whatnot. So you got Chad Muma, solid special teamer. Jack Kaiser figures to be a core special teamer early on. Like, yeah, he was a beast at Notre Dame for special teams, a leader for them. Named team captain. He's going to be a nice, solid core special teamer right away. Jalen McLeod, he's another guy, could be a little Sam linebacker-esh style, a jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife player for them. And with his speed and athleticism, ability to rush the passer, he can also cover tight ends down the seam with his speed. Good linebacking room here. But what about arguably the biggest issue last season? How does it look this year? I'm ready to report this is going to be maybe even a strength this season for the football team. Or at least better, okay? I think they can at least be average, and that's why I rank them at 14th, which is taking a little bit above average, but right in that range, right? Give or take and stuff like that for injuries. Tyson Campbell's looked, nothing. I've heard nothing but great things in the new scheme with Anthony Campellini. You got Jerrion Jones figures to step onto the outside more this season to be a starter. Jordan Lewis comes in the slot. Yeah, they gave him the highest paid slot corner. Is he going to be able to replicate what he did in Dallas? Hopefully, right? He was a ferocious tackler, and he was super sticky in coverage. I mean, sometimes I do get worried when you sign players, like they're 30 years old, you're giving them big contracts and stuff. So, yes, there's a little bit of concern there. But overall, like I said, you had to do something this offseason. So I at least can commend them for doing something. And then they weren't done. They got Travis Hunter. And as I mentioned before, he's going to play on both sides of the football field. Like, you draft him, you trade up for Travis Hunter, you're going to take advantage of that. Sure, he'll be on a pitch count on both sides. However, he'll help and impact this defense as well. He's not going to just impact the offense. He'll impact this defense. So you look at this group, Montrevic Brown, when he gets back healthy, they did bring in Levi Wallace because Busta Brown is a little banged up right now. And I love Busta, man. I'm a big fan of Busta going back to the Arkansas days. I'm glad he's been able to develop, man. And they got everything out of it. It was a late round pick. That dude has been very solid, rock solid backup for this football team. Denetric Prince, let's see, I figure he makes the roster. You got Christian Braswell, figures to be their main slot backup there. I do like Jabbar Muhammad. He's a little undersized. He doesn't have the crazy athleticism. He did get kind of beat last night, too, for a little out route touchdown. overall, like I still like Muhammad. Maybe he can be a practice squad candidate and earn for something throughout the season. You never know, and for injuries and stuff like that. But in general, I'd say this room is pretty much reworked in a good way. And Campbell has got to stay healthy, of course, and that's one of his biggest Achilles heels and whatnot. But like good football player, and he's definitely got a potential to be this team's number one this season, and especially in this new scheme, I think he's going to really thrive. Going on to the safety room now. This would still be a big concern for me. Okay, this would be one of my biggest concerns on the defense side of the football field, maybe interior defense line being the second, and just seeing how some of those young guys develop there. But for right now, I would say the safety room would be my biggest concern. But they do have some good talent here, right? And you got Darnell Savage, Eric Murray. Now, don't forget about Andrew Wingard. I think, Dewey, right? He could end up being the starter for this football team. I like him a lot, man. He is not just like, he's first off, one of the biggest leaders for them on the defense and in the locker room. So, hey, you got to have those guys. And he on the football field, too, is a beast. So I think he has a real chance to beat out Darnell Savage. They're not going to hold anything from the past prior regime. I still list Savage as a starter, but don't be shocked if Andrew Wingard ends up being the starter. That guy can play, and obviously he can be big-time leader for them. So, yeah, I think that they at least got competition. Caleb Bransaw, they drafted early on, so he's a guy that played slot at Tulane and going to be shifting more to safety role with his athleticism, one of the best athletes in the draft. So, yeah, he's got a lot of upside. Get his little spatial recognition a little bit more, and I think he could be a good football player. Rayon Lane, though, I really liked Rayon Lane. That guy from Navy, that guy can play. He's got enough athleticism to get the job done as well. So he's a dude a little more instinctual. I actually think maybe right now he's a little bit better of a football player than Caleb Bransaw. Bransaw has more upside with his athletic and tools and whatnot, but Lane's a good player, man. And I think Lane can make some plays. He already did last night, too. So watch out for Rayon Lane. He's really a guy. And he also, man, he could have transferred to a bigger school, and he turned down, I believe, like a lot of money NIL wise to stay at Navy. I respect that too. Okay. I mean, that means you love football. You love the Navy Academy. Yeah. Salute to you, man. So I really respect that. You got Daniel Thomas, who could be a good special teamer for them if they want to keep him around the roster. So this is there's some guys that have a lot of potential in here, and that's why it's not like last for me. And there's definitely optimism. Eric Murray had a good season too. I didn't even talk about him, but he was good last year for Houston. So I think this room, they can do better than they did last year. Coaching staff wise, I rank him at 25. Yeah, it might be a little low. You got these guys, it's unknown. But I really, really, really like this coaching staff. This is maybe one of the highest rookie coaching staff that I had ranked. I think I maybe had one higher than this, but overall, like they are one of my favorite rookie coaching staff to watch this season. Liam Cohen, Duval. Yeah, I know. All jokes aside, but I really like Liam Cohen. Really like Grant Udinski. Man, he could be a head coach very soon. Anthony Campolini is going to be a solid defensive coordinator. I mean, he would be the guy I question the most here, but I mean, his former linebackers coach there for the Packers, I think he's able to, what he did with Quay Walker and Edrin Cooper last season and that defense. Yeah, I'm optimistic here in this room in general. So I think this could be an elite coaching staff. Like the potential is there. I'm just going to say that right now. We'll see how things. I don't want to jinx nothing, but I'm really, really excited if you can't tell with this coaching staff. Finishing up here with my record prediction, I have them going 11-8. Yeah, I have them winning the division here for Duval and Jacksonville. Just over Houston. It's neck and neck, I'm not going to lie. But, man, I love this new team. If they can stay healthy, if they can protect Trevor Lawrence this year, I think that is the key to this football team. And, of course, the secondary position improving, that also is a big key on the defense. So if they can improve those two things, this is a football team that absolutely can compete, even with a young coaching staff, one of the youngest coaching staffs in the NFL period. Might be. I don't know. I'd have to take a look on that, but they probably are. Very young coaching staff. So there's a lot of upside. And I'm so, so excited, man. So let's go, Duval. Let me know what you think. I am super hyped up for this football team. This is one of my favorite teams to watch this year, even though I love watching every team. But Jacksonville, they're going to be some fun ones, man. Travis Hunter. But I hope you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. And Duval.